Alright, so as you guys know, the college football playoff final bracket dropped earlier today. I'll review and cover the bracket itself and give my thoughts in a separate video. But one note and big talking point following the reveal was that Notre Dame was left out, specifically being denoted as the first one out. This comes after Notre Dame started the year 0-2 with losses to Miami and Texas A&M, and then ran off 10 straight wins, incredibly similar to last season before they made a run all the way to the Natty. I don't think many Notre Dame fans had many complaints with being behind Miami, given the head-to-head matchup, but where I imagine the Irish fans, coaches, administrators, and players took issue was being behind not one, but two Group of 5 teams in JMU and Tulane. And I think that's legitimate. Following the college football playoff reveal, and as of about an hour ago, the official Notre Dame football page dropped a bomb as they released a statement announcing they are withdrawing their name from consideration into any bowl game, which when I first saw it, I found absolutely shocking. I have no idea if it would have played out this way, but early projections had them going against BYU, the second team out, in the Pop-Tart Bowl, my personal favorite bowl game outside of the CFP. And to be fair to Notre Dame here, the bowl game is used as a meme every year, and fans of the participating teams just get absolutely cooked by the rest of college football nation for being in the game. The school's athletic director, Pete Bevequa, forgive me for the pronunciation, certainly didn't mince words. He called the ranking process a farce and expressed disbelief at how things ended up playing out. It seems social media is pretty split amongst fans and media personalities. The decision to skip bowl season is certainly controversial. Some see it as a justified protest. Others interpret it as a show of bitterness or arrogance. Kind of saying, look, we're too good to be in these postseason games. If it's not in the playoff, then why are we even participating? I don't think that's why Notre Dame's doing it, though. I think they'd participate in the bowl game if they did feel as though they didn't get snubbed from the playoff. I'll have some comments on the screen for you. They've certainly ranged across the board, just from supportive to criticizing the team, the administration, the coaching staff, all that. So the big question moving forward is, what does this mean for Notre Dame and college football? So obviously, first things first, the school and the program clearly accepted and were aware of the financial hit they'll take. By opting out, Notre Dame misses out on the payout and exposure they would have garnered for participating in the bowl game, which I do think is worth noting because it's considering that they're independent, that's pretty significant. Beyond finances, there's also just a competitive and legacy aspect to this. I do feel for some of the players that maybe still wanted to play, some of those guys that are maybe on the fringe of being drafted. By skipping the bowl game, it does deny the players, again, I'm kind of talking about the seniors here, a final game and denies the program one more chance to build momentum for next season. It's also a game for some of your young guys, since some of the older guys, obviously, I think Love would probably opt out of it. So then you might get some exposure, let a younger running back get his feet wet in the game, and just get an early start on some of his development. And then we get into a larger question, which is for all of college football. Does this move challenge or change the value of these quote-unquote consolation bowls? Are programs going to start treating bowl games as optional if they don't make the playoff? Could this lead to a ripple effect in how the postseason is viewed? I saw this tweet from Matt Baker, and I do agree with it. I do feel like this move is pretty unprecedented, and one we haven't seen yet up to this point. After this, I think there will be a significant ripple effect, and we'll see more and more teams doing this next season, possibly even this year. And I do feel for Notre Dame fans, even if they agree with the move to sit out, it is always fun seeing your team play that one last game, and no fan wants to get blindsided like that and all of a sudden find out they've already watched the last game of the season. But maybe some fans wanted to see CJ Carr and some of the other young guys prove themselves or just start and continue their development. I also wonder how recruits view this. Do they like the stance of it's playoffs or bust? Yeah, they probably do. But do they also view it as skipping out on a chance to compete in another game against another good team if it was in fact BYU? There's probably an argument that can be made for that as well. Selfishly, and for myself personally, I am disappointed and I am worried this may be the catalyst which ruins bowl season forever. I absolutely love bowl season. I watch as many as I can, and it's up there for me with March Madness as one of the best times of the year for watching sports. It doesn't matter to me if the bowls are considered meaningless by a lot of fans. I just love watching football, and you get to see a lot of fun and cool matchups. I just really don't want to see that go away. It's like, you're absolutely damn right. I'm going to be watching Wake Forest versus Mississippi State in the Duke's Mayo Bowl this year. And I think a lot of fans that just love the sport are probably with me on that. From afar, I can appreciate and I do understand the frustration of not getting in if you're a Notre Dame fan. I do think and I do believe they were one of the best 12 teams in the country. I think they should have been in. But I do also agree with the committee putting Miami ahead of them, and I think that was important. You have to honor and respect the head-to-head matchups. Even though I believe if they played today on a neutral field, Notre Dame wins and probably wins somewhat comfortably. But we don't know that. You got to play the games on the field, and that's what we have to go off of. I also do find it odd the committee didn't make the switch until today, even though neither team played yesterday or this weekend, and Notre Dame was ahead of them ever since the Louisville loss. It was just weird on the timing. I also disagree with 2 group of 5 teams getting in. I go back and forth on my stance. I want to defend letting 1 in because I always want to see that David versus Goliath story. However, I do think it needs to be earned by a group of 5 team. I'm not convinced they should just get an auto bid. This is one I always go back and forth with. I'd love your thoughts and your stance on it. I understand it's not basketball where, a 16 seed can just get hot from 3 and beat a 1 seed. See Virginia and what was it? I think it was University of Maryland, Baltimore campus, the Golden Retrievers, if I remember correctly. Football is certainly a different sport where the Goliath is just going to dominate the lines most years. But I still like the idea of, because there will come a time where 1 year we will get to see a big upset like that. Could even be this year for all we know. At the same time, though, like I said, I think it needs to be earned by the group of 5 team. Like they need to be undefeated and just rolling their competition since they play an easier schedule throughout the year. So you got 1 loss JMU and 2 loss Tulane. I don't know if either team deserves to be in. Again, I go back and forth on this. So I would probably still let 1 in. I'd probably let JMU in this year. But I guess upon looking at the bracket, it does look like Tulane is ranked higher. So yeah, I would probably let 1 in. I certainly just don't think I agree with the idea of letting 2 in. It's just the whole idea of them getting an auto bid. I'm not so sure I buy. If it was up to me, if I was college football commissioner for a day, I'd get rid of the committee personally. I'd bring back the BCS computer system, and then I'd just rank and slot the bracket according to the top 12 according to the BCS. I don't like the human element of it, and it just seems year to year there's different criteria that each committee values or devalues, and it's just not consistent year to year. But I'll make a separate video. Let's talk about that in a future video. I really want to know your thoughts on this. It's obviously new and breaking news, so I haven't had enough time to really process exactly how I feel about it. I don't know if I'll really have a strong opinion on it until we get the long-term kind of longitudinal effects of it down the road. I'm going to be really disappointed if other teams start backing out of the bowl games. But yeah, please, I implore and I ask you to get into the comments and please let me know how you feel, just because I want a pulse of college football nation and college football fans, kind of how they feel about it. Whether you're a Notre Dame or non-Irish fan, what do you think about this move that Notre Dame made? Do you support or hate the move? Do you think they should have been in the playoff? Where would you have had them slotted? Should they have been ahead of Miami? Do you think this is going to cause a ripple effect and possibly even ruin bowl season down the line moving forward? And just let me know your overall thoughts about the final college football playoff rankings and bracket. Are you high or low on the committee's decisions? I'll be sure to post any news stories or updates that come of this. I really hope we don't start seeing and hearing about more and more teams declining postseason games if they're out of the playoff, but I guess we'll get our answer down the road. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day.